coming out is like, people think that it's just one event.
Yeah.
But actually it's continuous. Yeah, and it changes along the way. And with my family, it has been very much a journey lah.
We are having our What's Cooking session.
What's cooking? Good
Today's
looking?
topic is Ash.
Alright, action! Welcome to today's What's Cooking Good Looking. Thanks for being here. I don't know why I'm the host since I'm the topic. I guess we wanted to start off just to ask like how do y'all, respond when you found out that you're getting a transgender colleague, and like, how was it like meeting me and all that kind of stuff? Yeah.
I think for me, I think it's pretty cool. I don't see having a transgender colleague any different. And I guess because I'm also very exposed with my friends and family who are transgender, so it's not like it's new. I think when I was also like working here, one of my first project was with the transgender community, so it was not foreign. There was no stigmatization for me.
For me, I just know that that's your identity, and then I know your name, and then that's about it. I don't have any perspective or anything. Yeah, you are still your own person, so I don't feel any different.
I think I remember that point of time when Sheila told us that we're gonna have a new colleague, and he is transgender, transitioning. Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
So I think the pressure is just that can we, if we like mispronounce, that's where how is we don't want to be disrespectful. That's the only thing that's our concern is like, because for me, I'm not say that I've not met any transgender people or some sort. It's never really that in the close context. So I hope that I do not disrespect.
To add on to the question, I think it's more of like, are we able to make you feel welcome?
Correct.
Or are we able to create a space that does not offend you? Or like, because I guess the session today is also great because we kind of understand like what things are offensive and what things can be like slide through the doors and like be okay with it. So I think for us, like, pronunciation was something that we were still trying to get used to. And then like, can we talk about certain topics that will not make you feel like it's a bit too much, right? So I think those were the things that we don't want to step onto, like those minefields. Yeah. And I think that was I think when we were sharing the thing, like, that was only the concern, like to make you feel as welcome and at peace at the area that we are working in. Yeah.
Thanks y'all. I mean, honestly, this team is amazing. Y'all are great. I feel really welcomed, and I'm super happy to be part of this team. Yeah, and I think like what you said, right? Like feeling like, you don't know, you have questions you may have or whatever. I think that's what today is for.
Yep.
That's what today is for. It's like, to ask your questions that you feel like maybe you usually feel paise to ask.
Right.
This session, no paise, just go for it.
Nice.
Yes.
Let's
and
go.
We've been collecting questions from the followers.
So what's cooking? Right?
What's cooking? So we do have question submissions from viewers who.
Awesome.
So we'll be passing the pot around, and then y'all can draw and ask a question. But if you have your own questions also, you can just like pretend that you are reading and then just ask.
Actually, my question is like this.
Okay, very good, very good. Alright.
Okay.
So I pick up.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see. Actually, I think this is my question. How did your family react to you coming out? What about your friends? It's two questions.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if y'all have similar experiences where you have to tell your parents some big news. Like, maybe you failed your exam, then you must tell them. Then I guess it's like, because being trans is quite stigmatized, at least in my family. I only realized this year that my family is quite conservative. Yeah.
And then all over?
Yeah, I think it's that kind of thing that you don't realize because you're deep in it, and you also don't want to think that they're conservative. You know what I mean? So then you're kind of in denial. Yeah, and then so only this year I was like, oh, actually they're quite conservative. Yeah. So actually what happened was that I came out to my mom first. Yeah, and this was way back in 2020. Yeah, and it went badly lah. Yeah, basically I think she was not ready at the time. She was very shocked and she didn't know much about what being trans was. And then so her first response was fear and But I think she was very scared for me lah. Yeah, and because of that, she kind of like was not able to accept it at the time. Yeah, and that was very painful and difficult. And also at the time, I was like living in the same house as her. Yeah, so then that made it like very difficult to just like exist in that space. Yeah, so I decided to like move out lah. And I think I'm very grateful that at the stage in my life, I had that ability to move out, right? So I had already been working for 2 years, so I had savings, and like I had that ability to move out, which many trans people don't, and many other trans people also have this like issues with their family. Yeah, and this is definitely something that like is a big like issue in the community lah, which is why I'm like glad that places like the T Project are like doing like, you know, shelters and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, that's also very limited, right? What they have the capacity to do. Yeah, so I was able to move out, and I think with that space, it was what we needed to continue the relationship. So after I moved out, I kept sending her articles, sending her links to YouTube videos of like other trans people, and then like, I mean, she never replied, so I don't know whether she got watched or not. But at least I'm doing the effort to educate her in that sense, right? And I think the thing with parents is that you don't know whether they're changing or not.
Yeah.
And sometimes it really is like you're so frustrated, right? Because you are like, man, are they even listening to me? Yeah, but I think with my mom, the experience has been like, because of the persistence, like, I keep sending her things, and I think she did like was reading by herself and stuff. And actually this month, something super unexpected happened, which I think I feel really grateful for, which was that uninitiated. So like I've been talking to her about it and stuff, and then uninitiated just this month actually, she messaged my family group saying, "Hey Ash, I want to support you." And I wrote this message to tell the whole extended family about your identity and to make our stand clear that we are behind you.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and like when I received that message, right, I just like sobbed uncontrollably, just to think of how far we've come, you know, from the very first time where she like outright rejected me to now this moment where she's able to accept, and that the growth is so much, because the message that she wrote was really like you can tell that she put in the effort to say, and she also shared about how like she had many sleepless nights worrying about me, but now she's finally accepted it and stuff like that. So like it was I think for me it's really not that long. Like I think it was like a 2 years to get to this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, during that 2 years there was so much pain and suffering. But to finally be able to be at this point, to have her acceptance is like huge lah. Yeah. So that's how. Yeah, I think it's a journey lah. So like the question about how family responds is really, you know, coming out is like, people think that it's just one event, but actually it's continuous. Yeah, and it changes along the way. And with my family, it has been very much a journey lah. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing. And I think the takeaway of this is like, you were able to, you know, get out and have that space to give your mom and yourself time to grow apart.
Yeah.
So that because technically you've been in that space for so long and you've been growing with her, and then eventually you changed. And it's hard for someone, or anyone in particular, to accept the fact of change, right?
Yeah.
So I think that time must have really made her understand. And I think your effort of also educating, that also must have played a huge role in understanding.
So when you met me for the first time, were you blown away by how handsome I was?
Oh, how handsome he was.